समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं संस्कृतेर्वीक्ष्य हानिं च भारतस्य च दुःस्थितिं द्रवितं हृदयं यस्य वन्देऽहं तं महामुनिं निष्क्रिया करुणा क्वापि सफला न भविष्यति इति मत्वा सर्वदैव कर्मणि वर्तते यतिः स्वयं कुर्वन् कारयंश्च कर्माणि विविधानि यः असक्तः सर्वकार्येषु वर्तते सर्वदा च सः ज्ञानयज्ञप्रचारं च ब्रह्मचारि प्रशिक्षणं श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणादि व्याख्याग्रन्थप्रकाशनं बालकेषु च संस्कारो विचारो युवकेषु च धर्मनिष्ठा देशभक्तिः लोकसेवा तथैव च यथा वृद्धिं प्राप्नुवन्ति तथा यत्नं करोति सः सर्वदा सर्वभावेन सद्गुरुर्नो यतीश्वरः ये गुणाः सर्वशास्त्रेषु वर्ण्यन्ते ब्रह्मज्ञानिनां तैरयं सर्वदा पूर्णो राजते सर्वयोगिनां निर्गुणे निश्चला निष्ठा सगुणे सरसारथिः संगमो मधुरश्चायं देशिकेनो महात्मनि अनेकजन्मार्जितपुण्यप्राप्तः मया गुरुर्यो जगति प्रसिद्धः यस्य प्रसादेन मनः प्रशान्तं बभूव मे तं शिरसा नमामि कृतज्ञताया च हृदि स्थिता मे वक्तुं न शक्या खलु यत्नतोऽपि गुरो प्रसीद कृपया विधेहि त्वत्पादभक्तिं परमानुरक्तिं त्वत्पादभक्तिं परमानुरक्तिं। बोलिए सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की। ओम नमः शिवाय। 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 Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Har Har Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadev. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Shri Tapovana Paramagurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om. Salutations to all. So first shloka of Kritajnata we already saw. 6 aspects of Gurudev are described there. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam is the visionary missionary aspect. Karunamayam, the sannyasi. Chinmayam, Gurudev has a unique personality. Devam, the master of the senses. Sadgurum is the teacher of the truth. And Brahmavidvaram, the best amongst the knowers of Brahman. Now moving on, actually the first verse is like the seed verse. That only gets elaborated further. Second shloka now. Samskritervikshya hanim cha bharatasya cha dusthitim dravitam hridayam yasya vandeham tam mahamunim. Samskriter vikshya hanimcha, having seen the decline of this beautiful culture as well as the pitiable condition of our country, Bharat, at that time, Dravitam Hridayam Yasya, one whose heart was moved. Salutations to that great Muni. Vandeham tam Mahamunim. I salute that great sage. So, who is a Muni? One who is contemplative. Manan Shilavan iti Munihi. One who contemplates, whose mind is subtle, is a Muni. And what did he see? So, all of us know Gurudev himself was a freedom fighter and he fought for the political freedom of the country. When he was in the jail, he came across this magazine called My Magazine. And in that, articles of Swami Shivananji were there, and there he decided that as a journalist, he wants to go and expose the bluff of the sadhus. So he decided to go. When he came out, he was not well. He was almost going to die with typhoid, and they threw him out of the jail. One, because he was a very powerful student leader. He was a follower. He was a member of this Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, HSRA, which was the revolutionary organization. Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, all of them, that organization. His Guru Bhai, Swami Sundaranandji, he had told us that Gurudev was not only a revolutionary freedom fighter, he was a student leader in the Lucknow University and he had shot a British officer. And that's why the arrest warrant was there behind him and he was in hiding for quite some time in Punjab. Then he went to Kashmir and he took up the work of a translator. Morse code he had learned. So he was working in the British agency only. So British are searching him everywhere and he is sitting in the British agency translating messages, Morse code. Mein. And the final message that he translated was his own message that Balakrishna Menon is somewhere here, capture him. So he left, went to Abbottabad, and then finally they captured him. Abbottabad is in Pakistan today. They captured him, put him in the jail, and the jail conditions were not very good. He was going to die, and they didn't want this on their hands, so they threw him out. One Christian lady came and saved him. She was passing by in some horse carriage there, and Gurudev later on used to joke that, my nose saved me because my nose resembled the nose of her son. And so she looked at Gurudev in that condition, and she was here, and her son was, fighting for that World War, whatever that was happening that time. He was in the army there, so she was missing the son, and she looked at him, saved him. Then he recuperated in Baroda, went to Swami Shivananji to expose the bluff. There he transformed, and he had lots of questions. So then Gurudev was sent to Tapon Maharaj. Went to Tapon Maharaj, studied there. All of us know he took sannyas 49. Then Tapon Maharaj he went. Very interesting it is. How many years was the Gurudev with Tapon Maharaj? See, 1949 February he took sannyas. April he met Tapon Maharaj. And Tapon Maharaj said, we will go to Uttarkashi and resume the classes in August. So then they went August 49, classes resumed. Gurudev learned Panchadashi. Panchadashi is the traditional text that is learnt. Today we learn Tattva Bodh, but in the tradition they will teach Panchadashi, as composition of Swami Vidyaranya, 1500 verses. So that is the first text that will lay the foundation. Then he studied some Upanishads, Mundaka Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, like that he studied 6 Upanishads, I think. And he had this urge. So Tapon Maharaj and Gurudev used to travel up and down from Uttarkashi to Gangotri. In the summers, Tapon Maharaj will go up to Gangotri, sometimes beyond also, Tapovan, etc. And then winters he will come down to Uttarkashi. So in Gangotri there is a place called Fakiristan. And there these sadhus used to sit and discuss and have elaborate intellectual arguments. And Gurudev himself was an intellectual. He had lots of questions. So he went and he participated in those discussions. But after some time he found them very dry. And he said, what is this? This is some intellectual gymnastics is happening here. So he went and sat quietly and he was sitting on the banks of the Gangaji. And there he feels. So when it is said here, na Samskriter Vikshya Hanimcha. So he has been a political freedom fighter. He has seen the country's situation, and he knows that freedom one has got. 15th August 47, we got the freedom. Now this is 49 now. Now his whole gear has shifted to the spiritual freedom of the country, cultural freedom of the country. And so he's sitting on the banks of Gangaji, and in his own words, if we have to read, so he feels this. This is early 1951. So he says, can I do it? Can I face the educated class of India and bring to their faithless hearts at least a ray of understanding of what our wondrous culture stands for? Sitting on the banks of the roaring Ganga, I shivered as I pondered the thought. Think about it. Gurudev says, I shivered as I pondered the thought. Then he says, none could argue against the eternal truth that man is in essence God. But could I explain it to others? He is doubting himself. That can I explain this? Because this is very subtle truth. Man is in essence God. It's not easy to explain Advaita. So he says that uh, sitting watching Mother Ganga in her incessant hurry, I seemed to hear the words interlaced in her roar. Son, don't you see me? Born here in the Himalayas, I rushed down to the plains, taking with me both life and nourishment to all in my path. Fulfillment of any possession is in sharing it with others. See that? What a beautiful line it is. Fulfillment of any possession is in sharing it with others, especially knowledge. The more we share knowledge, the more it will grow. Every other wealth, if I give, it will perish. But knowledge, the more I share, the more it will grow. So here he says, fulfillment of any possession is in sharing it with us. It is in sharing it with others. I felt encouraged. I felt reinforced. The urge became irresistible. Those are the 4 words. That urge, when it became irresistible, think about it, that Gurudev, that compelled Gurudev to come down. So he went to Tapon Maharaj, and all we know that, Tapon Maharaj told him that you be here. Gurudev heard, went back. Again, after a few months, he came. There is very interesting what happens is Tapon Maharaj tells him, second time when he comes, Tapon Maharaj tells him that you go down to the plains and try and keep your mananam going in the plains while you are trying to share this knowledge and see how you are able to live. So Gurudev took up an all India tour. May 1951. He started an all India tour. Went across the country, and he says he was completely disillusioned to see the way the ashrams were functioning and what was being given out in the name of Hindu culture, and how there is such cultural decadence that we are not aware of what our glorious culture is. And blind ritualism is going on. People don't know why they are doing what they are doing. There is sectarianism, there is infighting, there's a divide, this north and the south, the divide was there. Then there is the priest class who is holding the monopoly to certain scriptures and they are not sharing it with others. The Varna Vyavastha, caste system has degenerated tremendously. So many things he saw. And so he was absolutely disillusioned at the way the ashrams were functioning, the temples, the Hindu institutions. And he went across the country. November 1951, he came back. Tapon Maharaj told him, go live there as a beggar. He did that. He went as a parivrajak. He didn't go with some contacts to a certain person's house and then who will take care of him and all that. He went as a parivrajak, went across the country, begged alms, lived, went to the temples, ashrams, all that he did. First hand he saw what is the decline of this culture. What Tapon Maharaj told him actually reinforced his conviction. And that's why he came back and he says the urge is irresistible. So think from May to November, that much time he traveled across, came back to Tapon Maharaj, and he coined a plan. And what is that plan? Upanishad Jnana Yajna plan. 1 month he was there with Tapon Maharaj, came down again. So from August 1949 to May 1951, that is the time he is with Tapon Maharaj effectively full time. Then, of course, he kept doing yajnas, going back to Tapon Maharaj, and 8-9 years passed that way. Tapon Maharaj took Samadhi, I think, in 57. So he kept going and meeting Tapon Maharaj. The point here is when he saw this, the country's situation, the situation of the culture, that moved him. Dravitam Hridayam Yasya. That feeling many times doesn't come. Guruji has written here salutations to him who felt the decline of the culture and the pitiable state of the country. When does one feel like that? When one is not occupied with oneself, then only one will feel the sorrow, the suffering of the others. And he felt the cultural decline. And this culture is that which is one of the most glorious cultures in the world. The only culture which has survived 1,000+ years of attacks and it is still surviving and thriving is the Sanatana Hindu Dharma. There is no other culture left in the world today. All the other cultures have got extinct. Dravitam Hridayam Yasya. When cultural decline happens, this is that bhav that motivates the missionaries. And the reason why Sanatan Dharma is flourishing, thriving, surviving even today is because of such great missionary masters. When Vedavyasji, he is also moved by this. This urge has moved so many people. The urge to revive the Sanatana Dharma when it has gone through decadence. Everything goes through decadence by time. It is, the passage of time, so many things will decline. Nothing remains static. It will change. In change, there will be a decline. And the decline will be of what? So, when we say cultural decline, what do we mean by cultural decline? For that, we have to know what is culture. What is culture? Values. Five things Gurudev used to say is culture. No? When a group of people stay together in a geographical area for a long period of time, then the values that they follow, the fragrance of their life is called culture. In these five things, group of people staying together for a long period of time in a geographical area, following certain values of life. In these five things, what is the most important aspect? The values. If the values go through decadence means what? The higher way of living, selflessness, truthfulness, integrity, compassion, forgiveness, all those values, when they are replaced by what? Selfishness, ego, arrogance, greed, dishonesty, all these. When the lower values take over and I, me, and mine becomes more important, then that culture will decline. Cultural decline is not only that, the uh, people are not following certain rituals or people are not following a certain way of life or they stopped applying some tilak, they stopped living through some Indian clothes, etc. So clothes, food, language, that's an external expression and that is also necessary. But the heart of culture is the values. And that value which is for the higher way of life is the spiritual culture. So there is material culture and spiritual culture, Bhautik Samskriti and Adhyatmik Samskriti. Bharat is anchored in Adhyatmik Samskriti. And anchoring in Adhyatmik Samskriti, we have achieved great progress in the material world also. Many people think that if we become spiritual, then we will not progress. That's why they keep spirituality as post-retirement plan. That we don't want to be spiritual now. When we are young, we should not follow spirituality afterwards. Why? Because right now is the time to act and achieve and be ambitious and grow. And spirituality will say, be contented, be selfless, don't aspire for more, turn within, happiness is not outside. But if you see the research, one economist called Angus Madison, he did a research on the growth of the economies of the world in the two millenniums. First millennium, second millennium. Till 18th century, the world GDP, 34% of world GDP was contributed by Bharat. The competition was only between Bharat and China. They both were doing 33, 34, 20, 31, 32, 25, 28. It will go like that. Industrial revolution changed many things. And that industrial revolution of Europe also was funded by whom? By Bharat only. $45 trillion they took. And they are still in debt. And they need Indian now to help them out there. You see that? Karma doesn't spare anybody. They took away everything from us. Why was India so great? Because the research shows that whenever spiritual knowledge was at its peak, economic prosperity was also at its peak. Why? The simple fact is spiritual knowledge tells us put nation above self. Look at the standards that our ancestors have set. Any field you see, dance, literature, music, art, architecture, temples, anywhere you see, what depth they have gone into is because they did not compromise. Their standards were very high. And from where did they come to that? Anchored in spiritual knowledge. They were able to rise above I, me, and mine. So when we become spiritual, our greater potential will manifest. That is Adhyatmic Samskriti. And that Samskriti, when Gurudev saw that this core of this country is declining. See, to even get that clarity and that perception is not easy. Material prosperity and material glamour and wealth, etc., can very easily charm a person, and one who is young easily gets carried away by that. Here is somebody who has seen through all that. He had broken into that elite class of Delhi, and he has seen that. And he says that I gate crashed from it on the very first party that he landed in. And he says enough of those. He didn't want to live that life. And he came here, understood. So when he saw this culture, the values, the essential part, the spiritual knowledge, and amongst in the value system also, if you go to the deeper aspect, the value system is only a preparatory means to purify the mind. The depth of Sanatana Dharma is essential oneness, which is Vedanta. That everyone is essentially divine. You and I are not these finite entities, we are infinite consciousness alone. That is essential nature of Sanatana Dharma. That's why it is Sanatana Vedic Dharma. Why it is called Sanatan? Because that dharma which will lead you to what is Sanatan in you is Sanatana Dharma. That dharma where the Guru Shishya Parampara is eternal from the beginningless time. When we say Sadashiva Samarambham, from Bhagavan it comes. Guru Shishya Parampara is Sanatan. The Vedas are Sanatan. Veda has no beginning, no end. It is not a book. Vedas are Sanatan. Guru Shishya Parampara is Sanatan. The knowledge that it gives is about our Sanatan Swarup. When we follow that, what we realize is Sanatan. The values it tells us about Satyam, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Kshama, all these values are Sanatan. That's why our culture is Sanatana Dharma. And one should feel proud of being the inheritors of such glorious culture, which has given to the world such fantastic ideal of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Please remember it is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudha means earth. Kutumbakam means family, meaning the whole earth is one family. And we have lived like that. We have not gone on to attack any country and acquire their land and destroy the people. So the idea here is that dharma, which has given this vision of oneness, is the Sanatana Dharma. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It is not Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Vasudeva is Krishna Bhagavan. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So when we say that this glorious culture, Gurudev understood this, and that's why he says that how will I convince that man is essentially God? Will I be able to give this knowledge to people? Because to get this knowledge, a certain preparation is required. So he doubted himself also. He was wondering, how will I do it? But when Mother Ganga says that fulfillment of any possession is in sharing it with others, he felt reinforced. Went back to his teacher, made this whole plan, came down, because he is moved by this decline of values. Time to time, such great masters have been moved by this. They have renounced and sacrificed for our sake. Vedavyasji wrote down the scriptures. Earlier it was only in oral tradition. He wrote it down, compiled it into 4 books, classified them, made them available. Again, over a period of time, what happens? Hindu culture goes through decadence, Buddhism rises, Buddhism is taken up by so many people, and then eventually, whatever Buddha spoke, that also people couldn't follow. Buddha spoke, desire is the root cause of evil, and today people are doing japa of Namo Renge Kyu for fulfilling desire. Buddha said no idol, and biggest statues in the world are Buddha statues. Think Buddhism also went through decadence. There was a time in the country where there is absolute intellectual directionlessness. Hinduism is in state of decline. Buddhism is in a state of decline. People are not clear. Materialism has taken over. Infighting, sectarianism, animal cruelty, violence is all going on. At that time, a young boy comes up, Adi Shankaracharya. 8 years of age, he renounces the world, goes ahead, learns from his teacher, revives the whole Sanatana Dharma. If not for him, today we would not have even whatever little Sanatana Dharma we are having today. Like that, so many masters, Vivekanandji and Madhvacharya and Ramanujacharya and every state, so many other saints, Janabai, Sakubai, Tukaram, Andal, Mirabai, Anandmayima, so many of them. The land of saints and sages. They have come time to time to revive the Sanatana Dharma because they feel this is the glorious culture. And that's why this culture has survived. Plus, our ancestors have fought a lot, sacrificed a lot. We have been told that we are weak. We were never weak. You read the lives of so many Rajputs, you read the life of Shivaji, you read the life of Hakka and Bukka, read the life of Sohel Dev. How many great people, and they have fought. Read the whole Ahom dynasty, how they have not been defeated by the Mughals. Assam, Ahom dynasty. But that has been not told to us. So, on one hand, the Kshatriyas and the Rajputs and others have fought so much to protect from the invaders. On the other hand, there have been all these great saints and sages. Together, they have ensured that this culture is protected. This feeling, that Dravitam Hridayam Yasya, that is a very feeling that motivates Bhagwan himself to come down. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Bhagwan comes when he himself feels that. Dharmasya glani. When the decline of values happens, rise of adharma happens. But that happens in many places. Roman culture, Greek culture, Mesopotamian culture, Egyptian culture, Macedonian culture, Mayan culture, so many cultures. Aztec culture, all these cultures, what happened to them? There also values declined. But why Bhagavan didn't come there then? Paritranaya sadhunam. Sadhu is there. If one sadhu also is there who is not able to practice spirituality properly, Bhagavan will come. Gurudev used to say, demand has to be there, then supply will come. If demand only is not there, why will Bhagavan come? He says Bhagavan is very decent. He does not come uninvited. You have to invite him, then he will come. He doesn't gate crash like people gate crash into the weddings of others. He doesn't gate crash. You have a demand, he will come. And this land has always demanded Bhagavan. So he comes. Paritranaya sadhunam. That is the first purpose. He doesn't come for vinashaya cha dushkritam. Vinashaya cha dushkritam he can do just like that. And how does he come? He comes through the saints and sages first. Saints and sages are called the Nitya Avatar of Bhagavan. Bhagavan lives on this earth through the saints and sages. Then if even they are not able to do, then he will come. Vishwamitra Rishi, Vashishta Rishi and such great rishis are there. They are not able to handle this Ravan, so then Bhagavan has to come as Ram. Now the point is that feeling that moved Gurudev, and that 42 years The entire mission is an expression of that bhav, that this culture has to be revived. He's a Hindu missionary. He started Sandipani Sadhanalaya for that, a Hindu missionary institute. We will come to that more as we go along. So we have to feel that this culture declining, are we able to see the decline of the culture and the values going down? Then what is our response? If we really feel, then we will want to go out and give this knowledge to people, because that is the revival of culture that will happen. From where did Gurudev get this feeling? His bhavana came from his intellectual conviction, what he studied, convinced by it that yes, essentially we are divine. And that is the source of all freedom. This knowledge of the self is the cause of all freedom. Ignorance of the self is the cause of all sorrow. Now, intellectually, one may understand something, but it has to seep into the heart. Vedanta is not an intellectual path. Vedanta is a path where from the buddhi it will seep into the heart, where one will feel the oneness. So when he felt this, that this is such a beautiful, glorious knowledge, and why this is not there with our people, came down to revive that knowledge. Please remember the conditions in which he came down. Bharatasya cha dusthitim. Bharata just got freedom. People would tell him that there is poverty, there is no infrastructure, there is no proper education system, there is no proper, industry, there is no, help for agriculture. All this needs so much of help, and you want to give knowledge of Vedanta. But think about it. There are people who can do those things. When one chooses the field of service also, one should choose the field of service based on one's own swadharma. That this is my core competency, I can share this here. And the need of it, he was convinced that this is the need of the hour, that I must give this knowledge. It's not that hungry stomach he wanted to give knowledge. He started many other initiatives also. Very first Gyan Yajna that he did, 100 days Gyan Yajna, when he finished, even through the Gyan Yajna, every morning there used to be this Nam Sankirtan. And then he also had Havans. And he used to have these meditation sessions, all that. But at the end of the first Gyan Yajna, 100 days when they got over, he did Annadan. You know for how many people? Just guess. First Gyan Yajna, no organization is there, nothing is there. He is an individual who came down from the Himalayas and started speaking. And there are people who have come and they are helping out. 5,000. Correct, Annadanam Mahadanam, no doubt. But he did that Annadan, 10,000 people. First Gyan Yajna, at the end of it, the Annadan he did is for 10,000 people, straight. So it's not that he was insensitive, I will only give knowledge of Vedanta, others. No, he carried on both. But it is important because how many people can do Jnana Seva? Very few people are there who can do Jnana Seva. To do the other types of Seva, you will get a lot of people. And there is a need for it more and more, there is no doubt. To serve the poor, to give the food, to give the blankets, to give medicine, to provide education, no doubt people are required, but easier to get those people. But to create this army of people who will share this knowledge of Vedanta, that's what he did. Why? Because he is moved and convinced. So my study must give me that conviction. In that nobility of the goal, that I am here to share the knowledge of Vedanta and absolute selflessness, that is the second point. He didn't want anything out of that. Genuine bhav is, I need to revive this culture. This culture has to be revived. So what is the meaning of cultural revival? The values again have to come back into the lives of people. People have to know why they are doing what they are doing. The essence of Sanatana Dharma is Vedanta. So even so many rituals that we do, why do we break a coconut, why do we light the lamp, why do we do the arati, why do we have a tulsi plant, why do we do pradakshina, so many things that we have, What is the purpose of all those? It is to purify our mind, make it single pointed, make us realize our own divine nature. That connection was lost. People are doing mechanically. And that generation was such that if somebody asked a question, they would say, don't ask. Our parents told us we are doing it. We never questioned. Why are you questioning? And then we'll quote the shloka from the Gita, Samshayatma Vinashyati. Don't ask. If you doubt, you will perish. But they don't see the first line of that shloka. Agnyascha ashraddhadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati. The whole line says if you are ignorant and you don't have faith and you simply doubt for the sake of doubting, then you will perish. So anyway, that was the situation there. So he gave, and he himself was a questioner. So he came down, shared this knowledge, made people aware. Why? Because he's moved. So what moves me? Does my study bring that conviction in me of the importance of Vedant, of the fact that Vedant is the solution for lots of problems in the world? Even today, you tell me one problem and I will tell you how Vedant is the solution for that. Terrorism is a problem. Why? Fanaticism is that, no, in that. Vedant is a solution or not, where we see everything as one. Environment is a problem. People talk about this. It's very interesting. Save tiger, save rhino, save the trees, save the earth, you know, save all these. But what about save the culture? That one is not bothered about. The culture, when it is going through decline, to build a culture takes so many generations. To lose the culture, if one generation says, I will not do this, it is enough. That culture will finish. That practice will not happen after that. How many people do Sandhya Vandan today? Think about it. Swamiji does so many talks on Gayatri Mantra. Across the world, he has done countless talks just on Gayatri Mantra. How many people do Gayatri Mantra Japa? Even in this audience, raise your hand. Regularly, every day, Sandhya Vandan. See, not even 10% will do. Every Sanatan Dharma follower. When people say that a Muslim does 5 times namaz, a Christian goes to the Sunday mass, what is that for the Hindus? We have so many practices. We don't have any one. We have a huge set of practices. So we can do anything, but we do nothing. It is not that we don't have any one standard practice. We have, and that is the Gayatri Mantra. One has to get the Janev Samskar and do the Gayatri Mantra. But we don't do. And then some foreign university has to say that the power of this Gayatri Mantra is there and this will do this and it will help you in your mental health and your stress will reduce and this and that. And Amazon will start selling kit. What is the kit? Sun worship kit. What are you doing, young person? I am doing sun worship. It's a new fad. What new fad? Gayatri Mantra we have been doing for thousands of years. That we don't want to follow. So we don't follow our practices. Then how will that culture revive? One generation says, Shraddha Karma. How many people do Shraddha Karma? People proudly tell, Swamiji, I have told my children, don't do any Kriya Karma after me. I don't believe in all these rituals, rites and rituals. ठीक है, भूत बन के लटकते रहो फिर. After you die, you will hang. In this poor loka, keep roaming. Then keep wondering, अरे भाई मेरे लिए श्राद्ध करो कोई. But you only told and went. You wrote in the will and went also, don't do anything behind me. Now they will not do, now hang. I'm not saying to scare you. I'm just saying because there is a reasoning behind all this. If your son goes from here to America, will you not bother about the food, etc.? Even though he's going in flight, every mother will still say, you keep this food. Maybe you need in the way, maybe something in the layover. They will take care of their food and water and all that or not. You are going from this loka to some other loka. How many days, how many months, how many years it will take, we don't know. What about your food and water? There are no stalls on the way you can purchase. Those who do the Shraddha Karma here, that will help you there. We don't believe in all that. Study the scriptures. Pitru Pakshi is there and so many ancient cultures have been doing that. The two Abrahamic cultures came and they have fanatic thoughts in their head, and then they have removed everything and they have destroyed all the, the worship of the devatas and everything in different cultures, and then they made us feel lesser about it. This is all decline of the culture. Revival of the culture is to understand what is the meaning of all these things and again come back to that. Why do we need the stamp from the West? Everything has to be stamped by the West or what? In fact, somebody went and asked Gurudev, that Swamiji, so much of work is there to be done in India. Why are you going abroad? And what a fantastic answer he gave. This is in the 70s. He said, all of you are looking that side, so I have to go there and stand, then only you will hear me. Because that is a fact. Satyajit Ray, his greatness is not recognized unless he gets an Oscar from there. Vivekanand ji, 7 years he roamed this country. His sister died, committed suicide. There is no food in his house to eat. And he was trying to revive the country and the culture here. People did not support him. Then 1893 he went Chicago. Do you remember the date? January. Very good. 11 September 1893. We remember 11 September for what? Think. No doubt that's an important event. Twin Tower attacks happened. But before that, Vivekanand ji spoke, World Parliament of Religion. That we have forgotten. That day changed the perception of the whole world about Bharat. It's a very important day. But he has to speak there, then we applaud him. Hey, he's our man. He is a great man. And that tendency continues even today. So many of our shows, we just copy. Who became a millionaire is there, here becomes Kaun Banega Karodpati. There it is, fear factor, it is same thing, just blindly aping. What about your creativity? You have been innovators in this world. People have come from across the world to see your temples and art and architecture and literature and all that, and you are looking at that side and just going on copying. So our country's situation was that at that point in time. That's what is Bharatasya cha dusthitim is all that. Indian body, Western mind. That was the situation at that time. Sanskrit was removed. And do you know who was the first person? I should not say first, but one of the prominent people who proposed removal of Sanskrit from the education of India? Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Read more about Raja Ram Mohan Roy and you understand what a traitor he was. We applaud him as one great social worker. He abolished sati, my foot. What sati? There was no sati in this country. That has been clearly been the propaganda of the people to make us feel lesser. Read the book Sati by this Meenakshi Jain ji. She is a great researcher and she is brought out on Sati. So clear. There was no Sati Parampara. There is nothing called Sati Pratha in this country. But we have been drilled through our education system. Sati Pratha. What is Sati Pratha? Sati word is used for a woman of purest and chaste conduct. We don't use sati for somebody who is to immolate herself when the husband has died. That is only one option if she wants to take that option that she can't live at all and she doesn't want to live. Otherwise, Vidva Punarviva is there in the Smritis. The widow can remarry or the widow can stay unmarried and continue to live her life and she is not considered inauspicious and all that. So the idea here is this, that our own people, the Sanskrit has been removed, English was introduced and people are looking at the West. See, nothing wrong. As I said, global family is our culture. When we say that the whole earth is one family, we learn. Our Veda says, Ano Bhadra Kritavo Yantu Vishwataha. Make good thoughts come to us from all directions. There is no problem. We can learn from so many people, so many cultures, adapt. There is no issue at all. So many people who have come into this country, have we not adapted their culture? Have we not integrated them as a part of our country? But not forgetting our roots. That is important. And so, when Gurudev felt this, then he said this knowledge has to be brought to the people And this has to be revived. That feeling he had, that is the missionary feeling. You see the difference in the missionaries, that other cultures, they want people to follow their religion and convert everybody by whatever fraudulent practices or by allurement or by force or by threatening. This is not like that. This is a beautiful culture. And Gurudev always said, his first talk, 23rd December 1951. What was the first talk? First talk was held in Rastapet temple. And how does he begin that first talk? A Hindu temple, a Hindu Swami, an audience who is Hindu, and the topic is let us be Hindus. That was his topic. Why? Because converting Hindus to Hinduism was his first main focus. Because he's moved by this fact that this such a glorious culture is in such decline, pathetic state it is. 1993, 7th August, they were, not 7th August, I don't remember the exact date, I think 11th or 12th August, some 8th or 11th August, some one date it is, where they were celebrating the 100th year of the World Parliament address of Vivekananda. They wanted Gurudev to address. Who went to invite Gurudev, Modi ji went. Narendra Modi ji had gone to invite Gurudev. With that letter, he went. And Gurudev, he was a visionary master. He knew that 3rd August he is going to take Samadhi. So he told, I will not be able to come. And he wrote a very fantastic message and he gave. That letter is also there. But one thing he told very important. He said, 100 years ago I came, I woke you all up. You again went off to sleep. I had to come again. Now again I have woken you all up. Now stay awake. Think again and again these great masters, they come, and that's the only reason why this Sanatana Dharma has survived. And you and I think again, after some time the master has gone, again we go back to sleep and some messiah will come, some master will come, they will revive this Sanatana Dharma and this culture will not die. Why? This is Sanatan. It is not going to be like that. We have to take responsibility and be awake. And Gurudev ensured that he formed the organization. So many. VHP was formed by Gurudev in Sandipani Sadhanalaya. If Ram Mandir is there today, one of the reasons Ram Mandir is there is because of VHP. And who formed VHP? Gurudev and Guruji, Golwalkar Guruji together. And the thought of forming VHP is in Gurudev's mind when he was in hospital, he was recovering. And he sent a message to Golwalkar Guruji saying that, I feel we should all unite together as Hindus and bring all Hindu organizations together and form this VHP. In the hospital, he is down with some disease. I think he was down with some typhoid or something. And then he is recuperating in that hospital there. And his mind is thinking of Hindu culture. That is this bhav. When he feels that this decline has happened, and he is not satisfied just by doing Jnana Yajnas. How many initiatives, one after the other, for Sanatana Dharma? So, Samskriter Vikshya Hanim cha Bharatasya cha Dusthitim. Dravitam, he is moved by this decline. To that great Muni is my salutation. Now, when he is moved by that, then what did he do? Next shloka, very beautiful one. Nishkriya karuna kvapi सफला न भविष्यति इति मत्वा सर्वदैव कर्मणि वर्तते यतिः. Nishkriya karuna, that compassion which is fruitless, actionless. When one is seeing somebody suffering, but one is not doing anything actively to remove it. Nishkriya karuna. Safala kvapi na bhavishyati, will never be successful. It is equal to pity only. One just pities and leaves it. Iti matva, having known this, sarvadaiva, at all times, karmani vartate yatihi. He engages in action, meaning active compassion. Yati word is a very nice word. Yatnam karoti iti yatihi. One who puts efforts is yati. And yati also means one who lives in self control. Who lives in self control, conserves the energies, and strives is a yati. C cube formula for success. What is it? Create, conserve, consecrate. C cube formula. Create energies. Every day Bhagwan gives us energy. We can create more energies through whatever pranayam, etc. that we do, through our selfless thoughts, through our higher purposes. Create energy, conserve. Don't waste in unnecessary, unproductive thinking, negative thoughts, dissipation, indulgence. Conserve. Create energy, conserve energy, and consecrate it towards the higher purpose. Whatever be the purpose, even if it is material purpose, success, financial growth, any other purpose, even there one can consecrate. That's the same formula. So yati means that one who creates, conserves, consecrates energy. And here it is, active compassion. So there are two types, there are three possibilities we have to understand. When somebody is suffering and I can see their suffering, there is karuna, but I don't have the capability, samarthya is not there to do anything. Maybe I see somebody poor, but I myself don't have enough wealth that I can go and do something for them. So karuna is there, but samarthya is not there, capability is not there. Compassion is there, capability is not there. In some people, capability is there, compassion is not there. Samarthya is there, but highly involved only in themselves. I, me, and mine. Don't bother about others. So don't even see the suffering. Even if one sees the suffering, one ignores. One just says, oh, bichare, they are suffering, what to do? No proper compassion. It's only self-pity. But where karuna is there, samarthya is there, then that will manifest in action and that will remove the sorrow. Gurudev is a bhakta of Shivji. His Ishtadevata is Shivji. Shivji is the perfect example of this karuna and samarthya combination. Where? In the Samudra Manthan, when the halahal poison comes out, the only one who is capable of handling that is Shivji. And he has infinite compassion. He doesn't think twice. He comes, takes that poison, consumes it. And look at the selfishness of the Devatas. When the Amrit came out, did they give even one drop to him? Did they ever go? You took poison for us, chalo thoda Amrit bhi aapko hum denge. Nothing. They fought within themselves and they drank it and finished it. Did Shivji crib? इन लोगों के लिए किया. कैसे लोग हैं? अमृत पीकर जो अमर है वो है देव. विष पीकर जो अमर है वो है महादेव. That is our Lord Shiva. So that is that Ishtadevata of a person will imbibe, that qualities of that Ishtadevata will get imbibed very naturally in a bhakta. Of course, one has to be open to it. If one is just doing mechanically, it will not happen. But if one reveres that Ishtadevata, those qualities will come. And so Gurudev worshipped Lord Shiva. He had both. He had Karuna also and he had Samarthya also. See, one is Karuna, compassion. Second is Samarthya, that is capability. And the third is the Bhavana. To apply both these to remove the sorrow. All the three are required. Bhavana was there with him, that we already saw. Dravitam Hridayam Yasya. Capability is there. He has gained the knowledge from Tapon Maharaj. Samarthya is there. Karuna is there. Intention is also very clear that I want to go and share. All the three are there. He comes down. Active compassion. He is not a cribber, complainer. What to do, स्वामी जी? Whole culture is going from bad to worse. क्या कर सकते हैं? अब तो बहुत गई, थोड़ी रही, अब हमारे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है, अब देखेंगे, जो भी है भगवान करेंगे. People see the decline of culture and they just crave, complain. Arey, what can you and I do about it? We should start doing in our own ways. And he created so many forums for it. From where is that compassion born? Is very beautiful. One, we already saw conviction. But the journey of compassion is from passion to dispassion to compassion. That's the journey. In passion, one is preoccupied with I, me, and mine. In dispassion, one has got enough vairagya. Shivji has compassion because he has great vairagya. Gurudev had compassion because he had great vairagya. Vivekananda, if you read his works, now one of beautiful things he says is that bundle up your selfishness and throw it into the ocean if you want to get into the field of service. Because service can truly happen only when there is selflessness in the heart. I want to serve, I want nothing. I want to only give. And that's why when he says the whole Chinmaya Mission pledge, Gurudev dictated in one shot. When there's All India Chinmaya Mission Workers Conference in Abbotsbury. You know where is Abbotsbury? Chennai. Somebody must be thinking New Zealand, Australia. Abbotsbury is in Chennai. That's the hallmark. The British people left, now they renamed so many of our places and they went. So in Abbotsbury in Chennai, this All India Chinmaya Mission Workers Conference was supposed to be there. And that morning, somebody came and told Gurudev that, Gurudev, for the workers, we need a pledge. And Gurudev said, okay, closed it. He said, right. He closed his eyes and started dictating. One shot, the whole thing has come. It's not that he has sat down and thought, pehli line kya hogi, dusri line, strategy, what my workers need, nothing. Close the eyes, invoke Bhagwan, straight. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, talk, everything. And at the end, he said, that's it. Now that fellow heard Tatsat, so he wrote Om Tatsat. Actually, Gurudev said, that's it. He heard Tatsat. So at the end of it, we say every time Om Tat Sat, which is also good only because it completes the whole thing. My point of saying this is in the pledge, when he says producing more than what we consume, giving more than what we take, we serve as an army, that is all from his selflessness. It doesn't come. For me, Chinmaya Mission Place is equal to a Vedic revelation. Gurudev is a rishi. To him, the entire pledge is just a revelation. It flowed, fat, done, finished. So this compassion is born from dispassion. When I don't want anything for myself, I am here to serve, I am here to give. How many people are there who come and say, Swamiji, I have served in Chinmaya Mission for so many years. What has the mission done for me? Are? That question only should not be there, first of all. What has the mission done for me means you are here for the mission or the mission is here for you. You are here to purify, na? To let go of this very fact, this small little I that goes on nagging us and nagging everybody, that has to drop. And I should choose my field of service when one enjoys that. Gurudev used to revel in the talks, in the seva that he did, Gyan seva and all other types of seva. For him, it was not a pressure because he is anchored in dispassion. He doesn't want anything. Plus, it is his swadharma. So if I love children, I am engaging with children, taking Balvihar class, then the whole thing is a joy, preparing for the children and learning and new activities and engaging with children. And it's such a fantastic opportunity to serve. In that one will experience so much of joy, so much of happiness. Now where will that question come? What did the mission give me? That question only should disappear. That is the growth of the worker. The worker never asks, what did I get from the Chinmaya mission? I will share on that WhatsApp group one very nice thing that what will Chinmaya Mission do to you? In that one line only I remember, otherwise a very big paragraph, but fantastic paragraph. In that Gurudev says Chinmaya Mission will not give you anything. But in that one line he says Chinmaya Mission will replace the beast in you with the best in you. That is what Chinmaya Mission will do. So that is active compassion. Is my compassion active? What am I doing with my capabilities to share this knowledge? Whether it is children, whether it is youth, whether it is adults, whether it is music, dance, through blog, through tweet, through literature, through videos, through reels, how many ways I can do. But I have to give this knowledge, I have to share, I have to live it, I have to share it. That is active compassion. Otherwise, pity one will be. It is only simply just some self pity and pity on the things. The culture is declining, people are suffering, what to do about it, we can't do anything. And just go on fueling that negative thought process. Nothing it will come out of it. In fact, one will feel more hopeless. Gurudev used to say, one of the talks to the youngsters, he said, this was, I think the talk is Youth Today. In Mulund, he was talking to the youngsters. There he said that there are people who can go on cribbing and complaining, but he said, I consider you as the luckiest generation. Why? Because the country has fallen so low that it can't fall lower. Now it will only go up. And you have to just give your shoulder. So don't crib and complain. Give your shoulder and let that country go up. So active compassion is what we should think about, that in our ways, what is the feeling that we have for the culture which is declining. Even today, after so much efforts, no doubt there are certain things because of which the culture is rising, but how much it can be and how much it is, there's a vast gap, and that gap has to be filled. One can't say that now everything is available, jisko chahiye hoga wo le lega, they will apply it. No. Do we say that in other things? There we are pushing, na? Materialism, so we are pushing. Everybody is pushing their thought process, and each one is getting influenced by it also. When it comes to spirituality, then we suddenly take this so-called detached stand that वो तो जब अंदर से होगा ना तभी होगा. So Gurudev waited for us to have from andar se the bhavna, or he came and he made that bhavna rise from andar se. If he had waited saying इनको जब अंदर से होगा तब वो आएंगे हमारे पास, then he would have been sitting there in the mountains. You and I won't be here. We have to expose, we have to make people aware, make them do in the way in which they like it. After that, they take or not is their choice, but we have to put our efforts, no? And be with the modern trends and see how to reach it. After that, if they take or they don't take, that is their prarabdha. But our effort has to be there fully. So 3 verses we have done. We will stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.